under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Stateside Footy, and it is the MLS Cup final. In about 2 hours, the American top flight will have a new champion, and of course, this is an absolutely monster afternoon. And of course, coming from the great city of Seattle, a team that has played in 5 MLS Cup finals in the last 10 years. They understand the magnitude of what this day means, and understanding that you are literally 90 minutes away from lifting the biggest trophy in the American top flight. And God damn it, man, I am absolutely fired up for this one because, quite honestly, it is the 2 best teams in Major League Soccer this year. There was no outlier, no cheeky Cinderella run through the MLS playoffs to get here. This isn't LA versus the New York Red Bulls. This is the 2 very best teams from both conferences. 2 of the best players right now in Major League Soccer with Thomas Muller and Leo Messi. And this is going to be a game of absolute inches. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and also hit the notification bells so you do not miss out on any upcoming content from Stateside Footy. All right, let's not fuck around. Let's get into it. And relatable Redsky, this is 100% real. All right, let's talk about Vancouver. And they're going to set up the exact same way they always set up, in a high possession based attack, a 4-2-3-1. Takaoka is going to be in net, and I don't think there's a better goalkeeper in Major League Soccer with the ball at his feet, playing from out of the back. The dude is absolutely calm on the ball, never really makes him a bad decision, never gets rushed into making a bad decision, and he is, quite frankly, probably one of the best possession goalkeepers in Major League Soccer. The back line is going to be Ocampo on the right-hand side, followed by Tristan Blackman, who comes back into the starting 11 after missing the conference final, picking up 2 yellow cards in the quarterfinal against LAFC, followed by Priso off the left-hand side, and Laborda will be the outside attacking left back, the double pivot, and this is going to be absolutely massive for this team. The double pivot of Kubas and Berhalter, their responsibility today is absolutely massive, and we're going to get into exactly what they're going to have to do in order for Vancouver to hoist MLS Cup. Underneath is going to be Thomas Muller. And I can't stress this enough. Thomas Muller, by the way, has played Leo Messi 10 times across the course of whatever it might be, Champions League, quarterfinal, semifinal, final, whatever the case may be. 10 times he's faced Leo Messi, 7 times he's come away victorious. He knows how to beat Messi on the biggest stages. Outside, off the right-hand side, will be Sabi. On the left-hand side, another speedster in Ahmed, and up top will be the absolute killer, Brian White. And of course, in the conference finals, it was Brian White getting the team on the board early. And again, that's one of the keys for Vancouver today, is making sure that within the first 15, 20 minutes, they're the ones that are taking the early lead, pushing Miami on the back foot, forcing Miami to have to adjust or make Miami do what do what Miami does best. Speaking of Miami, let's go ahead and get into their starting 11, and they're going to line up in a 4-3-3. In net will be Novo, who has been absolutely brilliant since becoming the starter. Back line of Jordi Alba on the left. Allen and Falcone is your center back pairing with Ian Frey, who's going to be starting outright as that attacking wing back. And Frey can absolutely hold his own, as Cello is absolutely not going to be. It looks like that's actually kind of interesting, because I thought that Cello might get the start today, but it is Ian Frey. A midfield three of Rodriguez, Sergio Busquets, and DePaul. And it is that combination play between DePaul, Busquets, and Messi that has actually been a killer for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference, especially the last three matchups where Miami's essentially won that match 4-0. Up top is the attacking trio of Silvetti, Alande, and Messi. And really how this is Leo Messi obviously is going to be dropping in as that number 10. And it's essentially Silvetti is going to be coming off the left side and actually playing a little bit as that primary striker. Same thing with Alande as well too, coming off that right side, because both Rodriguez and Alba have the ability to get forward. Same thing with Rodrigo de Paul. And this team is absolutely dangerous in space. And from that standpoint, I think a lot of people are looking at this as not if, but when Inter Miami is going to be able to hoist MLS Cup. But that being said, we do have to get into it, because the Vancouver Whitecaps are equally as capable of winning this match. And of course, I have to go back to Leagues Cup, right? The last team, to really stay in front, and essentially return the same type of intensity when it comes to the counter press, not allowing Miami just to essentially carry the ball to the midway line and allow them to set up, clogging passing lanes in the middle, forcing Miami into turnovers so they can't hit on the counter. And then also when they get forward, just making it count. And of course, in that match, Seattle got off to an early lead. And when you look at the job that Christian Roldan and Obed Vargas did on Leo Messi for a large portion of that, final, they had to adjust. And Messi was, for a good stretch of that game, was trying to attack from outside instead of from central areas. In this case for Vancouver, they have the personnel to pull it off. Now, is this going to be a situation where it's going to be one guy specifically draped off the back shoulder of Leo Messi? Absolutely not, because really one of the things that disrupts it is those central soft areas where Miami actually likes to get forward and likes to set up, because when that happens, it draws defenders, and that's when defensive shapes lose all type of continuity, and that's where Jordi Alba comes into play. That's where Tadeo Alande comes into play, where they actually overload from one side to the other, and all of a sudden they get cheap goals. Right? For Vancouver, it is defensive discipline and understanding that if you can actually come into those soft areas and those central areas and essentially keeping Miami on the wings, you're actually going to have a very good opportunity, because it allows your line to keep your shape, and you can play back and you can stop Miami from picking you apart from the outside. I know it's easier said than done, because Nashville couldn't do it. Cincinnati, who was a very, very good team in the Eastern Conference, couldn't do it. And of course, NYFC couldn't do it either. Not a lot of teams are able to do it. And especially with the way that Miami also likes to set up from a defensive standpoint, they are a counter-pressing team. They like to win that ball higher up the pitch, whether it's in the mid or whether it's a little bit higher up, and they like to turn around off the half turn, and that ball goes directly directly forward, whether that's with Rodrigo De Paul, Sergio Busquets, or whether that's with Leo Messi, or if they get those runs from the outside, whether it's Silvetti or whether it's Hollande. And we saw that in the second half versus NYCFC. We saw just exactly how deadly a guy like Tato Hollande can be if you are not paying attention, right? So it really, defensively speaking, for Vancouver, it really starts in the midfield. And it's also being aware that combination play between Thomas Muller, but also Sebastian Berhalter and Kubas, the ability to make sure that those areas are taken care of, they're accounted for. That is going to be the way that this thing is going to, that Miami's going to have problems. Because I'll say this, Miami is not necessarily a great team playing from behind. Once they feel like they have to rush things, you can actually force them into mistakes. And I also have to point out that in that Leagues Cup final, they got clean sheeted. And when they felt like their backs were against the wall, they tried to do some things that, maybe if a break or two happened, they might have gotten one back. But unfortunately, things didn't break their way. And when it came down to it, they weren't able to do the things that they were able to do great, which is getting Jordi Alba into space on the left-hand side. It just didn't work because you have to attack the ball. No matter where you're at, you actually have to press Miami into a situation where they're going to make a mistake. And for Vancouver, it is essential. It is essential within the first 15 minutes to make sure that you bury one and you get an early lead and you take that crowd out of it. Because if Miami gets that first goal, this thing has the potential to get out of hand. This is a team that loves to play from a position of strength because they're able to get over. And speaking of Miami, that is the key for their victory today. And again, because if they get that early goal, they are going to sit on you and they are going to press you and they're going to make your life an absolute living hell. There's a reason why this team doesn't make a lot of adjustments in matches because they don't have to. Because they're, obviously they have the three best players in the league or three of the four best players in the league. And from that position of strength, they're able just to play their game without any hesitation. And it's up to Vancouver to disrupt it as much as they possibly can. If they can get a full half of clean football where they're going into the break up 1, up 2, it certainly bodes well for them because at that stage, Miami is going to have to adjust. So from that standpoint, the keys to victory for Miami is just continue to do exactly what they've been doing, and which is, literally take the early lead, play balls deep, try to get into soft areas, and from that standpoint, try to get that back line essentially just moving in the wrong direction. And if you can get to one side, whether it's Hollande or Alba, and get that early goal, I hate to say this, but unfortunately, Inter Miami is probably going to win that match. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we're at. As far as this game is going, and we are very, very, very close to this one. And this is a great final down at Chase Stadium. Vancouver supporters are absolutely packed in. A lot of white jerseys, and of course the Inter Miami supporters are absolutely going batshit crazy down at Chase Stadium. It is an absolutely beautiful day down there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as we are waiting for these players to come out, and we will get this match underway. I will say that as far as this matchup is concerned, if there's only two teams that I think that actually have the depth and have the balance to actually give Miami a run. And that is obviously, we saw it once in the Leagues Cup final, and it's going to be Vancouver. From start to finish, this team has been so bloody consistent, and they get injuries, but they continue to move forward. They have the depth to withstand, but they're also incredibly disciplined as well too. And so from that standpoint, if there's any team to give Miami a run, it's going to be Vancouver. The question, again, is going to be which team is going to blink first, who's going to score the first goal, and that is going to dictate just exactly where this thing is going to play out. But I will say that these two teams met in the CONCACAF Champions League. And of course, Vancouver was the one that came out on that one in an absolutely big way. And I believe they won that semifinal by an aggregate of 5-1. And understand, there is some things you can take away from that, but it was so early in the season. It was before both teams actually got their footing. One team was actually trying to win it, while I don't think that Miami was trying to lose it. But that being said, they had other things that they were looking to accomplish. Obviously, MLS Cup was certainly the at the top of the heap. And in that, you saw very good performances from from Vancouver, to the point where you were wondering whether or not you actually saw the better team in Major League Soccer. Concurrent to exactly where those two teams were at that point in the season. From that point, I will say that in that home and home, I don't necessarily think you can actually have correlations to it, because again, we were so early in the season. And as much as I want to sit here and say that Vancouver knows how to go down to Miami to do it, this might be just a different animal. That's all I'm going to say. But as far as predictions go, here's what I will say. And again, like I don't like to repeat myself, but again, I think I have to say this. It is going to be who's going to be able to score that first goal. If Vancouver is able to do what they did against LAFC and do what they did against San Diego and go into a half up, they're going to be in the advantageous position. But likewise, same thing with Miami, because if they grab that first goal, they are going to absolutely press the ever-living shit out of Vancouver. And I don't necessarily know if Vancouver is going to be able to get rolling. Much like we saw against Cincinnati, much like we saw against NYCFC. Certainly, I think Vancouver has the better personnel. But you guys tell me, who wins today? Is this going to be Vancouver, or is this going to be Miami? And this is what I love about it, because it's the built-in storyline, right? Everybody loves to hate Miami. I certainly kind of fall into that category. I'm not over enamored with Inter Miami. I certainly don't think that this league is better if Miami wins. Me personally, I've always believed that the better team on the day is going to, is a worthy champion. So from that standpoint, I'm going to pick Vancouver. I got to ride with the Pacific Northwest. I got to ride with my Cascadia counterparts. I understand we're rivals. But that being said, as somebody that watched both of these teams for extended periods of time, clearly the two best teams in Major League Soccer, but Miami can be disrupted. And the question is does Vancouver have the wherewithal in those moments of disruption? Can they put one or two past them and put themselves in the driver's seat? That's the question that has to be asked. I say yes. But you guys might disagree. You guys let me know. Is this Inter Miami, or is this Vancouver? You guys tell me. And it looks like the players are ready to come out onto the pitch in a modified football stadium down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at Chase Stadium. Not exactly wholly impressed with Chase Stadium. I was down there in September. It's aight. But here we are, Thomas Muller versus Leo Messi. And again, my inclination is to go with the guy that knows how to beat Messi in the biggest games. Now, granted, this isn't Bayern Munich versus Barcelona. This isn't or Munich versus PSG. I totally understand it. There's different levels, different different personnel surrounding them. And of course, it's a different league where massive contact is allowed, right? So you're not going to necessarily get the calls that you want in those moments. But that being said, man, I can't for the life of me pick against Thomas Muller. It's just the way it is, man. And maybe it's just because I got a little bias. Could be. So it looks like the first thing to go is going to be the Canadian. Looks like it's going to be the Canadian national anthem, which is going to go first. Followed by the national anthem of our great United States. So I guess the question that I do have for you too, right? So one of the interesting things was that in that in that last conference final with Miami versus New York, Messi wasn't exactly involved from the minute go. As a matter of fact, there were times where I thought NYCFC actually did a pretty good job of potentially taking him out. One of the things that did NYCFC was the fact that Alande absolutely came to life in that semifinal, having essentially bearing a hat trick and was using his pace down that right flank to essentially he was able to score at will. Whenever you get that type of hat trick in that type of moment, it also signals that they have more than one way to beat you. And when I look at the way that Miami likes to attack, whether it's on the counter or whether it's in the buildup, man, they usually like to involve. They like to play that combination play down the right hand side, and so I guess that question, right, is like it's not just an issue of slowing down Messi or taking him out of certain areas, but it's also, is this an opportunity? Does Vancouver have enough to kind of slow down their secondary pieces? That was something that I was thinking about coming into it, right? So we're talking. Essentially, it's going to be Laporta on the left-hand side versus Alande, and that combination play between Alande and DePaul, and you're looking at that combination of Laporta, Berhalter, and Ahmed. More specifically, Ahmed tracking back, right, and also being in that position where he can be, defensively responsible, right? To me, I'm looking at certain areas of the pitch, and I'm looking for areas of exploitation, right? If Vancouver can hold their defensive shape and hold their line, certainly they're going to be in a little bit of a better position. But that being said, it's like, is there going to be somebody within Miami that is going to be able to, to actually be that leader today as far as scoring goals if Messi isn't necessarily 100% dialed in from the minute go? That is also something else that I wonder about today. And so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this thing plays out. Again, I'm ruling with Vancouver today. I've been absolutely impressed with Vancouver from the minute go. Speaking of superstars in the crowd, although we weren't, they just actually panned to Diego Luna. So there's a lot of U.S. men's national team representation in the house as well too. Obviously, Greg Berhalter's in the house. His son's kind of playing for a trophy, so it's kind of nice to see it. But I don't know, man. When I get down to this one, for me, again, man, I got to go with Vancouver. I think they got that balance, and they're so fucking goddamn good in possession. They don't turn the ball over. They're very responsible when they're in possession. They don't necessarily shrink, and that's going to be interesting as well too. The ability to be calm underneath that pressure, because Miami will absolutely bring it to them. So it looks like everything is about to come off the pitch. As they clean up from all the pregame hoopla. And I love it, man. Again, I've been involved in 5 MLS Cups over the last 10 years, and I know exactly what this means for the host nation and, of course, for Inter Miami. This is their first opportunity for an MLS Cup, and, of course, you wonder exactly what this is going to do in the moment, but also in the long term as well, too. If they themselves can build a legacy off the backs of, obviously, Busquets and Alba and Messi. By the way, the referee today is going to be Drew Fisher. His assistants, his assistant will be Corey Anderson. And in the VAR, and I'll have that for you just a second here. In the VAR today will be Tom Sumple with the assistant being Carol Ann Schwinnard. So those are your referees today. And it would go without saying that we have to have a little bit of a discussion about the refereeing as well too, because let's be perfectly honest. And Ace, you know this as well too, and it's good to see you, and it's also good to see you, Nate, as well too. That pro refs are absolute dog shit, and they do absolutely have an effect when it comes to performance on the pitch. Right? They're wildly inconsistent. They allow too much physicality, and it wouldn't. And they also have the ability to change momentum on a dime as well too, especially if they get the wrong call. Right? How much is that going to play into this one? Considering that Miami is the home team. Again, I have Vancouver winning this one. I think they have what it takes. But that being said, it's going to come down to who's going to score that first goal. Because if Miami gets on the board within the first 15 minutes, it's going to be hell or high water for Vancouver to get back into this one, because Miami will continue just to press the shit out of them and disrupt their flow. But that being said, if Vancouver stays defensively structured, defensively disciplined, and are able to take away those passing lanes into soft areas, they're going to be able to get out on the counter and score. And if that's the case, it's going to be Leagues Cup final all over again. And I think that is where the challenge is for Vancouver, as we are getting set for the opener. Getting set for the 2025 MLS Cup. In 90 minutes, we will have a new champion. Is it Vancouver? Is it going to be Miami? I absolutely love this final. The two best teams in Major League Soccer. Thomas Muller, who, by the way, has 7 wins out of 10 against Messi. And there's the cup. Vancouver will be playing from right to left, as Miami will hold possession. We are underway. 2025 MLS Cup has officially started, as that ball's played back to Falcone, who cycles it, to Allen. That ball gets played forward, but it looks like Rodriguez couldn't handle that touch, as there's the quick throw in for Vancouver, as that ball gets played back to Blackman. And now it'll be Priso off the left-hand side, who goes down to Laborda. There you go, Priso. Play it direct. There you go. Don't cycle. Don't play into Miami's hand. Here's Ahmed on the left-hand touchline. And he's immediately pressed up by Frey. As that ball cycling back through between Blackman and Takaoka. Here's Ocampo. Plays it forward. Savvy's very good in the hold-up here. And there's going to be a whistle. And are they saying that Miami won that? Okay. Very interesting, but as play resumes, as that ball goes all the way back to Falcone and now cycled back to Allen. Here's Jordi Alba. Alba's going to play it forward. That's an errant pass that's picked off by Tristan Blackman. And here comes Vancouver, as they will play it all the way to the left-hand side. As Laborda now is going in the wrong direction, he's got to play it back to Priso. And this is what Miami wants to do, is they want to press this thing high. They want to press Vancouver into mistakes. As Takaoka will play it all the way to the right-hand side, it's Ocampo. And again, Miami automatically just presses. As Berhalter now is going to play this one forward, and he finds Savvy on the run. And that's very good defense right there. As it looks like Jordi Alba was there to clean that up. As Sabi made an inside run. Ball was a little too over the head of Sabi right there. As Miami will try to play this forward. Good ball into Rodriguez, and here comes Miami. And it's Rodriguez. As that ball gets played back. And now Miami has to play this one back, as Vancouver was able to get organized. There's a ball into the central area. as it comes down. And that ball will fly over the crossbar. And it looks like it was Alande who made his first touch, was able to get around the corner a little bit there as Priso made the first initial contact, but it was Laporta to cut down the angle as that goes over the crossbar. Good shot right there by Alande as he tries to go far post. Yeah. Alande smelling a goal. As Takaoka now will play this one long, and that's going to fly out. And so far, it looks like Miami. And we're only 3 minutes and essentially 4 minutes into this first half, and it looks like Miami is able to do the things that they want to do. And there's a whistle right there, and it's going to go against Tristan Blackman. As Silvetti was coming in to a central area, and Blackman puts him on his ass. This is an absolutely massive game for Vancouver. Obviously, there is the news that came out that there might be a potential move of the Whitecaps out of Vancouver. Ownership stability, revenue issues as that ball gets played out. And the one thing that corrects a lot of this is winning a championship. So it almost feels like Vancouver might be playing for more than just the MLS Cup, as that ball will get played all the way back to Takaoka. As that ball goes down the left-hand side to Priso. And now they're going to try to play that forward. It's going to take a deflection, but Priso will regain possession. And now there's the switch. And now he finds Sabi on the right-hand side. That's a good ball forward. Here's Sabi now, 1v1 on the outside against Rodriguez. Here's Kubas. Plays it out. Here's Ocampo into the box. Ooh, he finds Muller. Good defense right there by Miami, but Blackman will hold this in. And now there's another ball into the box, punched away by Novo. And now it comes down to Alande. And there looks like there's going to be a whistle here. And now they're going to sit here and say that there might be a handball here. As we have to look at this one again. As we see it again, so there's that ball that comes out from Ocampo, and it hits Thomas Muller right there. That's good play by Allen as we see it again. On the secondary, it was Berhalter into the box. And it doesn't look like there's any handball. Oh, it was actually on Alande right there. Interesting. So here's a free kick for Vancouver in a very dangerous area. As here's the ball. It's going to get played in. He's got Blackman at the back post. Nice play by Novo. And now Miami's going to try to play this wide. Good way to close it down. As they're going to have to backtrack as this ball goes all the way back to Allen. And now they're going to try to find Jordi Alba. Alba plays it forward to Rodriguez. Now he's circled by 3 defenders. And that ball pops away. Oh, and good control right there by Allen right there as Sabi was all over him. And now it's Thomas Muller. As he's going to try to close down Falcone. That's a good job right there against Frey. That was Ahmed. And now Vancouver is trying to twist the screw a little bit as Brian White will go into Novo. And now there's some space here with Allen. As Sergio Busquets will pass it all the way out to Frey off the right-hand side. Moving forward, here's Messi along the right-hand touchline, and he works his way out. Nice play right there. And now all of a sudden, it's Alande into the box. Alande. Oh, it's an own goal. Oh, and it's Ocampo who puts it in his own. And Miami, in the first 10 minutes, will get on the board first off an own goal against Ocampo. And again, this was one of the points coming into this one. You can do all you want with Messi. Drop him in, but all he has to do is have enough space to play it forward, and then it's the speed of guys like Alande and Silvetti off the outside, and you have to stay defensively disciplined. And you look at this because Priso comes in as that ball gets chipped forward. Now he's out of position, and now it's a race into the box as Ocampo just taps it into his own. And now it's 1-0 Miami. Oh, baby. As Niall O'Connor says, Muller's some player to have him around the dressing. Oh, yeah, without. And then there's a reason why Vancouver's here. And, yeah. But by the way, it was an own goal, so let's keep it real. As play is resumed, and Miami now holds the 1-0 lead. Again, you had to keep Miami out in the first 10 minutes, but there's a play that's going to get out down the left-hand touchline. As it looks like Rodrigo De Paul is trying to sell a foul here. And this is Miami head games here. By the way, there's nothing. Kubas didn't do anything right there. And this is what Miami does, man. It's the mental games, trying to get Vancouver out of their comfort zone. These are the tricks that Miami does. They will play head games. They will do these. They will take these flopping opportunities as a means to slow things down, take away some momentum. But live and learn. So now that you've seen Miami operate and break, now it's time to adjust if you're Vancouver. And understand exactly. By the way, Miami's 26-1-5 when scoring first goal in all competitions. They are very good from ahead. Asabi will play this one forward. And that headed forward goes to Falcone, back to Novo. And Miami will control possession. As Falcone will play it forward, and that's going to get out of play, so it'll be a Vancouver throw-in. And immediately that ball goes in. And it's Sebastian Berhalter. And now there's a whistle. A soft-ass whistle against Messi, as Berhalter was absolutely taken down. And this is what I mean by the refs. As Kubas didn't do anything except for trying to play the ball. As play resumes with Miami in possession, here's Frey, who's going to try to play this forward, but right there is Priso, as that's headed all the way forward, down by Berhalter. But it goes forward, and Miami will hold possession here. As Noble will play it long. And it comes down to Kubas. Redirected. Here's Tristan Blackman. Does a good job. As there's a scramble for the ball. And now there is going to be a whistle, as there is going to be a yellow card here. And I will say that it is called for. There has to be some sort of order here. As Blackman went in, he played the ball on Silvetti. But right there, it is going to be Rodriguez right there on Kubas. You can't step on a foot and not expect a yellow. Play has resumed as Priso plays it back to Blackman. And here's Laborda, who's going to play it forward. Here's Brian White. And Miami will try to set up their attack here. Here's Laborda. And there's a foul against Falcone as Thomas Muller will hit the turf here. Here's Sabi. 1v1 down the right-hand side. He's got two trailing him. But it's Ocampo. Plays it in. And it looked like he was looking for Berhalter right there, as that's going to get played out. Good ball movement by Vancouver, as they can certainly build their way forward. As play is resumed, as Falcone will play this long. Laborda heads it forward. And they find Ahmed trying to break the wrong direction. Now it's Frey, but Vancouver will come away with that ball in that scrum. So it'll be Priso who lays it off to Kubas. And Vancouver will try to set with Berhalter. Here's Muller. And it's Ahmed. Muller will come away with it. That ball is going to get tipped. And it'll be a Vancouver throw-in. Off the left-hand touch line in a fairly deep position. And it'll be Laborda who will make this throw-in. And there's going to be a whistle. And it looks like Muller's knee connected with Frey there. As they replay that goal. And it was Messi's little pop to Rodrigo de Paul. Through three defenders, and it was DePaul's ball over the top to Alande. And there's going to be an offside call. And it looks like maybe Silvetti was a little too far forward. And he certainly was. Yeah, he was way offside. So Vancouver will hold possession. Tristan Blackman. And that ball is going to try to get forward to Brian White. That's going to come down off the Falcone, but it's Brian White who holds it. And they're going to actually say that this is going to go against Vancouver, but there is a yellow. And it looks like that might. Yeah, it's going to go against Brian White right there for pushing down Falcone. So you're kind of hoping that this physical play here doesn't unravel Vancouver. But play is resumed as Miami now will work it to the right-hand side as Ahmed does a very good job of disrupting the passing lane. And that ball goes out, so Vancouver will have a throw-in. Here's Laborda as he passes it into Muller. That's headed on, but into an area where there was no attackers. As Miami will try to reset, here's Busquets. As that ball's going to go forward. And it looks like there's going to be a no whistle. That's interesting. As Silvetti actually was brought down by Tristan Blackman. But ref says play on. So here's Laborda. Ooh, good play right there by Allen. Good positioning right there. And it's Jordi Alba. There's an errant pass. Here's Ahmed. Attacking off the left-hand side. Here's Ahmed. And Miami just doubles the ball. And it's automatically taken away. Oh, wonderful play right here by Kubas. Takes it away. Ball into the box. Headed forward. And that's going to get out of play. And that was an unbelievable pick right there by Kubas on Alande. And he does pick out Brian White, as his heading form wasn't exactly the greatest, as that one just popped straight up. But Vancouver showing some tenacity here. What are you talking about? He's losing his head. Yeah, you're probably right. So Miami now will have the goal kick here. You know, through 20 minutes, Miami certainly has been able to play the style in which they're comfortable playing. Now, one of the things that I will say that Vancouver is doing is pressing the ball, making it a little harder for Miami just to do what they want to do. So credit Vancouver, but that ball's taken away. Here's Messi now, as Laborda missed it. Now there's the outside pass to Alande, and that's going to be cleared away. But quickly, Miami will hold it in. It's Sergio. Chips it forward, and there's nothing there except Takaoka. Miami is not able to capitalize. And that's quintessential right there. Forcing a turnover and immediately on the counter, being absolutely direct. Utilizing their speed. Oh, nice play right there by Ocampo, who holds on to possession. Here's Laborda now down the left-hand side. Finds Ahmed. And there's going to be a whistle right there against Frey. As play resumes. And here's Kubas. As that ball will drift back to Berhalter. Nice pass right here into Muller. Trying to play it a little bit forward, but right there was Rodriguez. As Miami is still trying to figure out a way to play it out of their end off the right-hand side. As Sergio Busquets is having a tough time, but it's DePaul that falls to the turf there, as he'll get a whistle as Ahmed is the guilty party. But I will say that Vancouver absolutely has responded the way that you want them after surrendering that goal. They have actually done a very good job of pressing. That's a nice little play right there by Ahmed against Rodrigo DePaul, as it popped back out. And now it's on the left-hand side with Allen, who's going to have to play this forward. As they make their way to Messi now. Tracking back is Muller. Now he'll play it off the left-hand side. That pass is a little too far out. Nice play by Tristan Blackman as that ball was whipped in. As it looks like they're going to draw that foul off the left-hand side. It's going to be Ocampo again. Good ball movement with Miami as they found a way to unlock Messi down that right-hand side. But it was Thomas Muller that came in. that pushed that ball to the left. They did a very good job initially with that cross, but now all of a sudden there's going to be a free kick. And it will look like it might have been Rodriguez right there that came in at the end to draw that foul. So this will be messy. Vancouver has to stay dialed in here, as they have 4 attackers at the back post. Their ball goes in. It's short. Headed away by Ocampo. Down to Sabi, who turns. And now they're going to say that Sabi touched his hand, but he was brought down by the jersey. So now there's going to be another free kick for Miami. As we see it again, off the half turn. Yeah. He touched the ball. He touched the ball. He fell and touched the ball. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And now all of a sudden you have Messi from outside the 18. And you know how he wants to do. He's going to want to go far post here. So for Takaoka, yeah, there you go. You got to kind of protect that back post there. As Takaoka is in a good position here. Here's Messi. And right there is Takaoka. As Messi decided to go near post on that one without any type of power on it. And it was low. So here's Tristan Blackman now as Vancouver is trying to play out of their own end. Here's Laporta. Shading in is Lalonde. They find Thomas Muller. That's tipped into Ahmed. But it's played back to Laporta. And now there's going to be a switch to the right-hand side. Here's Sabi. And he beats Jordi Alba. Sabi. Oh, no penalty. Oh, I don't know. He looked like he got tripped up in the box. I'm going to have to see that replay, though. But Miami's doing a good job here, playing it off the line. And Frey, very good job right here. As Sergio Busquets will play it now down the right-hand side. They've got Messi. And that ball's going to get out. As here's Sabi. Oh, yeah. 100%. It was Rodriguez. Rodriguez sits down, but there's the foot. Yeah, it's 50-50. It's 50-50 now that I see it. Yeah. I'm with you, Ace. I'm with you. It's 50-50 at best. It was the right no call. I'll say that. As Laporta will play this in. But it goes right to Rodrigo de Paul. Here's Lalonde. As Berhalter is... Oh, Berhalter does a good job right there on Messi. As here's Laporta. Tips it forward. Ahmed tips it forward. Good hustle right there by Rodriguez. And it's Priso who will play that ball to Takaoka. And now it goes out wide right to Ocampo. And immediately he has to play it back. As Kubas will find Ocampo now. Ooh, good play by Falcone. And Silvetti. As Messi. Oh, good block right there. Good block as Messi looked like he had an opportunity right there in a central area. And it looks like it was Silvetti that actually crossed it. And it looked like it was Kubas that tried to redirect it. But it was Priso that got his leg on it to block that shot. And again, Miami. So dangerous in those central areas. As Vancouver is going to have to figure out a way to slow that down. That's a good pass right there. And they're going to say this one's against Frey. So here comes Vancouver. As Blackman will play it up to Savvy, who's hugging the right-hand touchline. Here's Kubas. Finds Laborda. Goes to Ahmed. 1v1 against Frey. He's got no help, as that's going to take a redirection off of Frey right there. That's the thing, is there's no overlap off that left-hand side. Here's Berhalter. As now Vancouver will try to play it around. Here's Laborda to Ahmed. And now Miami will bring an extra. Oh, here's Muller. Here's Kubas. Oh, you got to take a shot here. First touch, you got to take a shot, bud. As that ball's taken away, it was messy from behind Laborda. Now Miami's going to try to break here on the counter. All the way down to Rodrigo de Paul. There is the switch to the left-hand side. Here's Jordy. And now Ocampo will close it. And that's taken away right there. And they're going to call that one against Busquets right there. As he trips Sabi. As Vancouver will play it again down the left-hand side. Here's Ahmed trying to get forward. He does. Here's Berhalter. That pass was just too far behind. Nice tip by Kubas. Here's Blackman. As he finds Ocampo off the right-hand side. They've actually been somewhat successful off that right-hand side, but they keep trying to force it down that left wing. By the way, Vancouver currently leads the possession battle 57% to 43%. It is that attacking in that final third that has hampered Vancouver so far. They have actually worked it into pretty good areas. As that ball comes down to Priso. As it's Tristan Blackman who will play it back to Priso now. As Takaoka will play it right back out to Priso. And again, they are doing their best to play it down this left-hand side. And Ahmed actually beats Frey. No whistle. And Ahmed will come away with, and now they're going to call it against. Oh, man. So there's the initial contact as he was pulling him down by the arm. Play is continued. Now, by the way, Frey had good body positioning right there. And they will call it against Frey here. So this will be a free kick. And it will be Sebastian Berhalter, who is a very good set piece taker here. "32 minutes in. Here in the first half. Miami leads 1-0. As here we go. Ball in. Oh, and White got on it. But it was right at Novo with absolutely no power. As Vancouver got exactly what they wanted. Brian White isolated. There was just nothing there. This ball's taken away. And they tried to play it in. Brian White was not in position there. Good defense right there by Vancouver to get that ball back. As it looks like the Bear Halters are in the house here. As now Vancouver again will have possession. As that ball will cycle all the way to the left-hand side, it's Laborda. Here's Ahmed. That's a good ball in. Here's Kubas. Tapped out to Blackman. Swings it to the right. Here's Ocampo. That pass was just nowhere near where it needed to be as Sergio Busquets. Will come away with it, and now Ocampo will be called with a soft foul as Silvetti just collapsed. God, this flopping is just obscene. Here's Frey now. Down the right-hand side. And Vancouver will come away with it. As Bearhalter gets dumped. And there's going to be a whistle. Allende and Bearhalter. I will say that the reffing has actually been decent here. As play resumes, as they try to play this to Sabi. Yeah, they're going to have to call that one. That will go against Rodriguez. So this will be another set piece here for Vancouver. As it will be a deep one here. Essentially off the right-sided touchline here. As Rodriguez is upset with that call. It was the right call, though. So it'll be Bearhalter again. See if they can get someone shaded to the near post. So it'll be Bearhalter as Blackman gets dumped. Here's the ball in. And it'll be Kubas. Here's Ahmed. Here's Muller. And now it's 1v3. And they're going to call that against Silvetti. So it'll be another set piece for Vancouver. And now all of a sudden, Miami seems to be coming a little unglued here in the 37th minute. And now there's going to be a yellow here. And it looks like that yellow was in the direction of Miami's bench here. And that was actually good work right there by Ahmed right there to get that contact. Blanketed by 3 defenders. So it'll be Bearhalter again as that ball gets whipped in. Back post. That's going to be headed out. Right there is Ocampo, who's going to play it right back in. Headed on to the back post. Sabi, ooh, he got one on. He got one on, but it was Novo. And now there's going to be another whistle against Miami. As we see this again, as this was excellent. As it was headed out, it was Ocampo who came to play one in. Mueller puts one on, and it's Sabi point blank right into the chest of Novo. And I to be honest with you, that was kind of like the best that Sabi could do at that point. And now there's going to be a whistle here. And Miami is frustrated. But the as now this ball will get shooted down the right-hand side. Coming up is Ocampo to head it forward. Moving is Sabi. As that's going to get out. That'll be a Miami throw-in. But having 3 set pieces still does not draw Vancouver level. As Alba will throw this in. Headed forward. Right there is Kubas. As that ball gets worked back to Blackman. Vancouver, literally for the last 20 minutes, has held possession. That's a nice ball in. Mueller tries to play it across, and Sabi wasn't there, as that ball was intended for Sabi, but that's get headed forward by Priso. And it's Kubas who comes away as there's 2 players down. And it's Alande. Here's Blackman. There's a ball in. Headed forward. Oh! Oh, and they got Thomas Mueller on the end of one. Good run by Mueller. Blackman picks him out. And it's Novo. Not exactly the hardest ball to save right there if you're Novo. And now they're going to whistle that one against Mueller. As both of these teams are actually putting in a very hard shift here. As it looks like they're going to say that one against Mueller versus DePaul. So we're in the 41st minute here. Here's Messi down the right-handed touchline. That's a good ball forward. It's Priso versus Alande, and Priso gets the better of it. Well defended. As they were trying to shoot Alande around the corner. Priso uses his leverage. That's good defending right there. Looks like Vancouver's learned their lesson. Not to allow Alande to sneak, to use that speed to sneak down the right flank right there. Here's Ocampo. As Blackman again will go to Mueller into a central area. As that ball finds Kubas. And now it's Laborda. Here's Ahmed against Frey, 1v1. Oh, nice. Here's Bearhalter across. Oh, good ball movement right there. And I don't know, man. Bearhalter probably should have tried to take a shot on net right there. As now Vancouver is absolutely finding very good areas past Miami's back line. And all of a sudden, this has become a very interesting match here. As that's taken away. Mueller. And now this ball will just be kicked out to the right. Because that'll go out. That'll be a Vancouver throw-in. Here's Mueller against Brian White. Mueller. Oh, good defense right there by Miami. And now they're going to try to break. Oh, good positioning for Kubas. If Messi gets to that ball. What's Sabi doing? He had a nice little 1-2 down that right-hand side and left it to switch. Try to go to Ahmed. Yeah, and Ahmed's going to get called. Good positioning by Frey right there. As Ahmed was trying to cut to the inside. And I'll just say it right now. Ahmed, I'll tell you what, man. Ahmed is kind of weak, man. As Falcone's, yeah. Falcone, I'm not a big. Yeah. So it looks like, let's see. Yep, very good win today for Spurs. Yep. Does Mueller look quick? Not really. He looks like Thomas Mueller. And yeah, that Ahmed versus Frey is a good matchup. Although Frey kind of wins that. Frey kind of wins that matchup, as it looks like there's going to be a yellow card here, as Rodriguez is down. As we see this again. Oh yeah, it's going to be an elbow right there against Ocampo. Boom. So this will be kind of a dumb yellow card to take in this position as we're closing down at the end of the first half. But that being said, Vancouver wants to show that same aggression. So we have 2 minutes of extra time here, as this will be here's the restart now. As that ball will swing all the way over to Frey, as Brian White will give chase. Here's Alande. Oh, good move right there by Alande. And they're going to whistle this one against Laporta. Oh, dude, get up. Get up. Oh, it was Silvetti. Yeah, get up, dude. Miami absolutely pisses me off. So we will have a free kick deep on the right-hand touchline. And watch Messi change the area where the ball was actually placed. I actually find this so amusing. He will just move it to a better position. Watch. I love Messi. So this will be a free kick. Here we go. Messi. Headed forward. There's good position right there, as that one will be popped over the crossbar. As looks like Sergio Busquets got on the end of it. Good delivery by Messi right there. As that ball's taken away by Miami. As the 2 minutes are up. As there's the whistle for the half. Let's see. Would I take Peak Galaxy? Would Peak LA Galaxy? Are you talking about LA Galaxy with Keane, Beckham, and Donovan versus Inter Miami? That would be by the way, that is a very good question. I don't know. That's a very good question. I would have to think about that. Yeah, that I'll give you that, Ace. It was really cheap, 100%. Let's see. Miami's getting into my head. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and get into the halftime stats here. as we take a look at it. Vancouver has controlled the bulk of the possession, 63% to 37% to Miami. The XG battle right now, Vancouver's even leading that, 0.57 to 0.21. Total shots, it's even at 4. Shots on target, Vancouver 3, Miami 1. Big chances, Vancouver 1, Miami 0, and of course Vancouver missed their one big chance. Accurate passes, Vancouver 206, Miami 118. Fouls committed, Vancouver 14, Miami 10. Neither team has a corner. XG from the run of play, and of course Vancouver leads that 0.16 to 0.12. Shots inside the box, Vancouver 4, Miami 3. In the passing game, Vancouver overall 237, 142. Passes in their own half, Vancouver 107, Miami 91. Opposition half 99 to 27, Vancouver. Accurate long balls, Miami 15, Vancouver 9. Accurate crosses, Vancouver 5, Miami 1. Touches in the opposition box, Vancouver 10, Miami 7. Also, Miami has 2 offsides. Vancouver has 2 yellow cards to Miami's 1. In the tackle battle, it is Vancouver 9-3. Interceptions, though, Miami 5, Vancouver 3. And Miami has 7 clearances and also 3 keeper saves at this stage as well, too. In the duel department, Vancouver's leading literally by 11, 34-23. Ground duels, 24-19. Aerial duels, 10-4 Vancouver. In successful dribbles, 6-4. And it paints a picture that Vancouver has spent a majority of their first half in Miami's own end. The reality is that it is that final link-up play that is something that eludes Vancouver, although they did, towards the end, they did a very good job of at least trying to isolate and get some good looks on net, although they were just unable to do that. So at that stage, it is for Vancouver. It's essentially keeping up that same intensity in that attacking department. One of the things that I would like to see is if they are going to try to force that ball down the left-hand side, at least bring an overlapping attacker, because every single time that ball touches Ahmed on that left-hand touchline, he's usually draped by 2 different defenders. It would be nice to have at least some sort of outlet for Ahmed in that department. Sometimes you'll see Thomas Muller drop in, but again, when you're dealing with a crowd of defenders, at that stage it seems kind of useless. For Miami, it is trying to break on the counter to get that second goal, because if they get one, unfortunately, this thing is over. One of the things that I will say is that Miami, it's not for a lack of trying. I will say that Vancouver adjusted well to giving up that first goal, and from that standpoint, they really haven't given up anything cheap, and I think that is, again, it goes to show you that defensive discipline that Vancouver has. But again, when we're talking about this, right, that's only essentially one half. But what I will say is that, and that's exactly right, Ace, 100%. I couldn't have said it any better. Miami's been catching Vancouver with the big switches, and has done a good job. That is when Miami actually has possession of the ball, right? That is a part of the equation that they just haven't been able to figure out. That's the thing. It's like at this stage, it's going to be quick counters, because they haven't really possessed the ball for long stretches of times where they might be able to utilize it. But what I will say is, let's see, Carlos Magrello says, "Aqui é de Brazil, Carlos Enrique. Messi, melhor player do mundo." And let's say, Richarlison, is Richarlison the number 9 for Brazil? Probably. By the way, your guy today scored an absolute banger of a goal. And it looks like Anthony Manzano says just subbed. So as we check to find this thing out, The interesting thing, right? The interesting thing about this one is there an opportunity for Miami to make some sort of halftime adjustment, right? Is this the opportunity to bring in a guy like Cello for Frey, even though that Frey's done an actually very good job in that right back position. The interesting thing is Cello does have the ability to stretch that right hand side a little bit. His long ball down that right side is actually pretty goddamn good. And that leak up play from the right hand touchline, he's got a nice little touch, and so maybe that's something Javier Marchano actually does at the half. But that being said, it's like even though you're right here, Ace, that Miami has been catching them. Vancouver's done a good job of holding their defensive shell. So from that standpoint, it's like, while yes, you're absolutely correct, they haven't done anything with it. If you've noticed that at times they've been able to use Messi on the break, but that being said, it's like there's no Jordi Alba. They haven't been able to do anything down that left-hand side, which has been a little surprising because you would think you might see some overlapping work on that left. But again, man, credit to Vancouver, because they've really been doing a very good job of having a body in those passing lanes. Miami hasn't necessarily been able to work in central areas in that first half. So we'll see. Let's see. Anthony Manzano says, why does it seem like the whole first half was both teams being very conservative and very defensive? Am I seeing the same thing? Well, I saw one team play the majority of the half in Miami's end. And especially from like minute 25 all the way to the end of the first half, Vancouver did a very good job of essentially keeping Miami pinned back, where what they have not been able to do is take advantage of it too. There's been no inside runs to try to play something in. It seems like Vancouver has just been trying to find ways to pop balls into the box and not necessarily be a little bit more aggressive in the inside. But I will say that that's for Vancouver. It's finishing out their attacking sequences, and for Miami, it's try to figure out a way to get the ball a little bit more and hold the ball a little bit more. The more that Miami holds the ball, the more that they become far more dangerous, right? It just so happens that right now it feels like they're a little comfortable protecting a 1-goal lead, although it's Major League Soccer, so a 1-goal lead is not going to be safe. For Miami, they're going to have to come out trying to score that second goal. And the same thing with Vancouver. It's like Miami did a good job of getting that goal within 10 minutes. But that being said, Vancouver didn't lose their composure. Ace says, no, I wouldn't sub in Cello yet. I feel like Segovia would be the first sub in for Rodriguez. That's a good call as well too. Segovia is kind of like that silent killer that you sometimes forget about that they have. Segovia is a nice player. Let's see. Do you think Miami ends up subbing in another attacking midfielder, maybe subbing off Sergio Busquets? No. I think Sergio stays on, right? I think Ace just kind of hit this one right on the head, right? If you're going to make a tactical switch, it's probably going to be Segovia in for Rodriguez. It all depends, right? So what is going to be the order of business for Miami? Are they just going to allow Vancouver to keep them pinned in, right? As we saw, it was a lot of long balls from Miami. And it plays into what Vancouver wants to do. And if you've noticed, the only time Miami was able to use their press is on the few occasions when Vancouver had to play from out of the back, and Vancouver broke their press pretty efficiently, right? So this has actually kind of been a one half. This whole first half was played in one end. So we'll see. I actually, to be honest with you, I think Vancouver's done a better job of breaking down Miami's press than vice versa, because we've actually seen some high turnovers for Vancouver, which is I don't know, man, which is kind of odd. So it looks like Major League Soccer is handing out an award, and it looks like Diego Luna is getting an award here, along with the Real Salt Lake contingent. And it looks like he's getting an award for his impactful work within the youth of Salt Lake City. So congratulations to Diego Luna, I guess. The quintessential MLS Cup final halftime brouhaha. All right, so the other interesting thing is, like, let me guys ask you this question for Vancouver side, right? Is this because they're doing a very good job of holding possession and working it deep, is this an opportunity to bring on, potentially maybe another central midfielder that actually plays a little bit high, something where they can maybe play a little bit better off of Thomas Muller, right? Maybe bring in somebody like Ryan Gauld, and having that type of combination that's going to be in a little bit of central areas, right? One of the things that I notice is the fact that playing it into a guy like Thomas Muller, there's really not a lot of space, and there's nobody that they can actually play off of. And that's the thing. It's like you have a guy like Thomas Muller that doesn't necessarily have enough space to create, and so maybe that might be something that would be useful for a team like Vancouver, and especially considering that they're still trying to figure out how to get that first goal. Maybe that might be something that makes a little sense. But let's see what Anthony Manzano says. It says, Steve, has the Port of Soccer as a whole improved with flopping, where they're empowering the referees to give players yellows if they purposely throw themselves on the pitch? I actually think it's, to be honest with you, I actually think it hurts soccer. And as a matter of fact, I would like to see a universal stand across leagues across the globe to issue yellows, right? So now the problem with that is that you are essentially allowing refs to make that determination. But that being said, I think refs understand when a player is actually really hurt versus when they're just trying to gain a whistle or trying to gain an advantage. Like, early in that first half with Rodrigo de Paul, he was not even touched, and he goes down trying to sell it, and he gets the whistle. Me personally, I think it's an absolute abomination, and that should have been a yellow right there. But that's the sport of soccer right now, and it's like you're going to try to find advantages wherever you can. And me personally, I think it ruins the sport more together. And moreover, it's like, if you're an athlete, are you okay with doing that? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I come from a different era where, taking a tough hit and getting up from it actually shows your opponent that you can't be pushed around. Whereas this is just, I don't know, man. I don't like flopping whatsoever when they're not having any contact with them whatsoever. That's exactly right. Sabi trying to get that pen. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about off that set piece? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? This is what makes it worse, Anthony. This is what makes it absolutely worse, is like when there's no contact whatsoever and they're rolling around on the ground acting like they got shot. It absolutely drives me absolutely batshit crazy. I'll be the first one to admit it. I think it's an absolute stain. And it absolutely doesn't help when our refs are some of the worst in the world. What I will say is that, yeah, that's the problem with Major League Soccer. It's not the league. It's not the talent. It's not the lack of growth or the lack of spending. It's like our refs are absolute dog shit, and it doesn't help that it's easy for players to swing a whistle. You know what I mean? Like they're able to sell whistles so easy in this league, and of course, being a Seattle supporter, the shit that teams against Seattle try to pull, and the amount of whistles that that ruin a play. Good Lord, it sucks. It sucks. I distinctly remember a match against Vancouver and BC. BC plays in September, where the ref comes out early for pulling down a player by the jersey, and he gets an automatic yellow. But the same thing happens in the second half against Seattle, where I think it was Jordan Morris that gets pulled down, and there's nothing. There's no whistle. There's no nothing. It's like, why even bother pulling the yellow if you're not going to be consistent with it, right? Especially for the exact same thing. And that is the problem encapsulated. It's fucking retarded, man. Let's see. Sabi. Oh yeah. No, when he steps on right. Okay, fair. Let's see. Will any MLS refs be working the World Cup in the summer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They are going to get the best refs from Europe, and I would probably assume South America. But I would be absolutely disgusted if even our best refs in Major League Soccer get that type of assignment, because quite frankly, it would be an abomination to the World Cup. Play has resumed now in the second half, as Vancouver now will be playing from left to right, and of course they will hold possession here. Miami opens up the second half, leading 1-0 as Takaoka tries to play one down the left-hand side. Right there is Frey. And there's going to be a quick whistle against Ahmed right there. So it looks as if both teams have made no halftime changes here. As play has resumed, and Brian White's doing a very good job right there. It was against Allen right there. Very good play right there by Brian White. Closing down space, and it looked like it went off of Allen, but they're going to say goal kick for Miami. As we see it again. Yeah, that absolutely went off by Allen. That should be a corner. But as Falcone will now play it out to Frey, and Frey can't handle it, so this will be a Vancouver throw-in. As it'll be Priso now, playing it all the way down to Tristan Blackman. As Blackman will hit Sabi now. Sabi's going to try to play one in. Good concentration to hold possession. Here's Kubas now. As they will play it down to Ahmed now. 1v1. Has Muller. And now here's Ahmed playing it into a central area. Tries to play it forward. Flicked on back. Yeah, that's going to go against Falcone. And it'll be a yellow. And this will be a very enticing free kick right here for Vancouver, as he absolutely, brings them down. And that was kind of an easy call for the ref right here. So now it will be a free kick here for Sebastian Berhalter. And of course, Miami's acting like they did nothing wrong. As Falcone. And you wonder whether or not that was actually a good, this is, a good time to be giving away these type of free kicks. But that being said, man, credit Miami. Defensively, they have done exactly what they're supposed to do. But here we go. And it is Sebastian Berhalter. The question is it short post or near post or far? As Miami has built their wall. As Rio Snovo will be responsible. So it looks like it's going to be both Ahmed and Berhalter. Here's the shot. That's going to go well over the bar. As Sebastian Berhalter, as you kind of wonder what the hell was going on right there. It looked like he just got under it. Good Lord. The full match, by the way, it's free on Apple TV, and I believe it might be on Fox as well too. So there's many different ways that you can watch this match for free if you're in the United States. But even if you're across the pond or in South America, Apple TV, it's free. As looks like Tristan Blackman tried to play one deep. But look at Vancouver holding it in. And it looks at time. There's certain times where Miami's caught flat-footed, but Vancouver hasn't necessarily taken advantage of it. As Kubas will play it all the way out. Oh yeah, that's going to be a foul right there on Rodriguez. A little too aggressive there. Play restarts. As Ocampo right there gets fouled. But they'll try this again down the left-hand side. As Silvetti tried to press right there. And they're going to whistle that one against Frey right there. So again, play restarts as they're going to play this one forward. Here's Ahmed. 1v1 against Falcone to the inside. Oh. As we see this again, Ahmed beats Falcone to the inside. Yeah, I don't think that's enough contact. I don't think that's enough contact to warrant a penalty right there. As this gets out for a free kick. Oh, as a goal kick, excuse me. As Miami tries to play this up the right-hand side. As Blackman comes in. And there's going to be a penalty. Are they going to whistle for the free kick right there? Or is this going to be a throw-in? It's going to be a throw-in for Vancouver. Here's Berhalter. As Berhalter is going to try to chip one forward, trying to get it on to Sabi. Yeah, they're going to whistle that one against Allende. Was that Allende? No, it was against Allen. Excuse me. As I kind of want to see this one again. So it's Ocampo. And it was, yeah. As Allen has his arm in front of him. As it looks like Allen was essentially draped off the back right there of Ocampo. So this will be a free kick now. Again, in a dangerous area. Can Vancouver get on the end of it? There's the ball in. Headed out. And here's Ahmed. With Berhalter. Oh, good ball in for Ahmed. Ahmed. Oh. But it's held in by Vancouver. Miami can't break. Here's Muller. Muller will try to play one in. Ooh. Oh. Good play by Rios Novo. And it's Priso coming across to take that one away from Silvetti. And Vancouver hurries quickly. Here's Muller. Oh, look at that. Oh, it looks like Ray gets nutmegged by Ahmed, but there's Falcone to cover it. And Miami trying to play through the pressure here. And that's going to be taken away. Here's Muller. And that's a good play by Falcone. There's a tip forward, but right there is Tristan Blackman to head it back in. But it's Rodriguez. And now it's Jordi Alba on the left-hand side. As Miami gets into Vancouver's territory. And that ball is that there's a give and go right there between Alba. And it looked like it might have been Silvetti, but that ball will go out. And Vancouver now will again hold possession. Second half possession, 68-32 Vancouver. As we're now approaching minute 55, so 10 minutes in. It's been all Vancouver. Good play right there by Jordi Alba. And now it's Kubis against DePaul. Good run by Rodrigo DePaul. Play resumes. Here's Busquets. All the way down to Alba. Ball in. And there's Takaoka. Ooh, and Miami just almost scored. Oh, was that Messi in the scramble? As Alba plays one in, Takaoka does a good job of oh, it was Messi. Oh, and Messi almost put him up 2-0 as it just goes wide of that header. Oh, Vancouver dodged a bullet. And it looks like Segovia has come on now, as Rodriguez will come off in the 56th minute. So it looks like Ace was right about that. Not a halftime switch, but obviously 10 minutes in, Javier Marachano is trying to fish for that second goal. Here's Blackman. As Vancouver will play it over to the left. And it's Takaoka now, as he will play it all the way out. And it's Laborda. As it works its way back now to the right-hand side with Blackman. Here's Ocampo. Here's Sabi trying to get inside. And now it's Kubas. Out to Laborda. Here's Ahmed against Frey 1v1. There's a ball in. Chested down. Oh, as Muller got on one. But it's Ocampo who will hold it in. Ocampo. Here's Sabi. Oh. And now it's Messi. As that ball will immediately go wide. Great play by Priso against Messi. Play continues. As it looked like it was Ahmed versus Falcone. Here's Messi again. Nice little dump pass. Good defense right there as Blackman boxes out Messi. Vancouver will take possession. Here's Blackman. There's the switch to the left-hand side to Laborda. Right there is Alande. Come on, let's see a run here. And it's Blackman now. Looks like Vancouver will make its way past the halfway line. Good central pass right there. Oh, Miami's defense is nice, man, as that ball gets cleared all the way back down to Takaoka. As Vancouver did a very, very good job of working that into a nice little central area. Brian White played one in. Miami's defense is up to it. As we are now approaching the 60th minute. 30 minutes remain here in MLS Cup. As Miami's goal comes on an own goal from Ocampo. As, Sabi, coming in is Ahmed. Oh, it's a goal. Well-worked ball as Ahmed scores off the left-hand side. What a goal. And Vancouver has drawn even in the 59 plus 45. And Vancouver has finally gotten their elusive equalizer. And now all of a sudden we have ourselves a brand new ball game. As we see this again, as it was Sabi that played it in, and it was Brian White who just dishes it out to Ahmed. And it's Ahmed's shot at the near post that beats Rios Novo. And it didn't, by the way, it looked like Novo was actually going to make that save, but he blocked it into the post and it caroms into the net. And it's 1-1. Well-worked goal from Vancouver. You knew it was coming. As play is resumed. As Vancouver was able to get their equalizer. As Falcone tries to play it up. Nice work by Vancouver. They're going to give it the whistle against Ahmed right there. All right, so we got ourselves an absolute brand new match here. Both teams level at 1. As Vancouver has done a very good job against Miami. And there's a takeaway right here. And it's going to be Sabi, who's going to beat Segovia to the inside. Here's Sabi. Again, Sabi. Oh, and he rings one off the post. Oh, and that almost win it again. Oh. As Sabi nearly scored. As he beats Segovia to the inside. Comes in and puts one on and rings one right off the post. And then he follows it up as Falcone was trying to get a handle on it and nearly put it in right there. Great hustle right there by Sabi to continue with it. Oh, it actually rings off of 2 posts. Oh boy, here we go. Jordi Alba into Messi with space. Kubas comes over. Oh, very good. Very good defense right there. As Kubas now will play it all the way to Sabi on the right-hand side. As Sabi smartly tells Vancouver to calm down. Here's Ocampo. As they work it back in to Kubas now. As Vancouver sets up in Miami's half. Good ball into Brian White. Plays it back out to Berhalter. Over to Ocampo. Finds Muller. Muller finds Berhalter. Berhalter tries to chip it forward. Yeah, and they're going to say that's a free kick here. As I think Vancouver earned themselves a whistle here. At first, I thought it might have been handball, but so now we're approaching the 64th minute, and Vancouver is still searching for that go-ahead goal here. And it'll be Berhalter here. Plays it in, back post. Headed away, and it's going to be Allende now. But it's, oh yeah, very good play right there, as it was Ocampo. Heads up play to play it back to Takaoka. Here's Berhalter. As it's Kubas now. Plays it all the way down to the right-hand side. It's Ocampo. Here's Sabi. Here's Muller. As Vancouver swings it to Laborda, now down to Ahmed. 1v1 against Frey. Here's Ahmed. Plays it in. Oh, here's Ahmed again. Oh, can't handle it. As Miami will try to play it forward. And yeah, there's going to be a yellow card right there against Tristan Blackman. That was a dumb yellow card for him to take. He didn't necessarily have to take that yellow at that point, because Silvetti was nowhere near that ball, as it was too far forward. And with Priso coming over to help there was no need. You know, for being the MLS Defender of the Year, he sure does make dumb penalties. What's happening with Miami? Do they care about this game, or they're just getting outcoached? They're getting outplayed and outcoached right now. And Deborah is asking, "Can we watch it with you?" No, I can't do that for copyright restrictions. As it looks like Vancouver is about to make a double switch here. As we will see who Vancouver will bring on. And it looks like one of them is going to be Gall. As we are now approaching the 67th minute, so it's going to be Gall and Poupie. As listen, man, credit to Vancouver, because they have gotten Miami out of their flow in which they like to play. And this was one of the keys to the game, right? Disrupting central passing lanes, but also you're going to have to match the intensity in their press, because one of the things you cannot do, and it's what Nashville did, it's what Cincinnati did, and it's what New York did. They just allowed Miami to essentially walk it into their own half, right, without any type of resistance. So coming off the pitch now is going to be Ahmed. Coming in is going to be Gald. And Priso's coming off for Poopy. Good game by Ahmed today, as his goal was the equalizer. But Miami has the throw in here, as that's going to go out, and it'll be a Vancouver throw-in. So as quick as Miami was able to work it down there. one of the reasons, right? Rodrigo DePaul only has 37 touches in this match. And here comes Gauld now. Gauld trying to work it forward, tries to play it forward to Sabi, but right there is Olive. Not exactly a well-worked ball right there. But it looks like Vancouver is going with 2 10s underneath. And here's Segovia, and he's got an overlapper. As he plays it out to Jordy, closing down is Berhalter, and that ball went forward. It goes out from Ocampo, so this will be a throw-in now. And it looks like it'll be Jordy. Here's Sergio. Closing it down right there is Ocampo. Good play right there, from Kubas. And again, he closes down Rodrigo DePaul. As that ball will fly out to Sergio Busquets. And there's a turnover. It's Thomas Muller. Muller plays it over to Gauld. Gauld. And now Vancouver will slow it down. Here's Berhalter. And now it's Ocampo. The more time Miami allows Vancouver to essentially camp into their own area, they're going to find the go-ahead. Here's Blackman. Blackman will try to play it in. Very good job right there. It's Muller coming away with it. Here's Sabi. Plays one in. And that was a bad cross into the box right there. As Poopy tried to play on Messi right there. And now he's got a track. There's a ball into that was a bad pass right there. Easily taken away by Vancouver, but now it's taken away by Messi. Ball forward. Here's DePaul. Oh, what a goal right there by Rodrigo. What a goal by DePaul. As Miami grabs the lead. As there's Beckham. There's your boy. There's your boy Bex. You knew he was in the house. As Rodrigo DePaul puts it back past Takaoka, and we see this again. As it was a very good, that was a bad pass, but then Kubas gets closed down, and Blackman gets caught, and it's Rodrigo DePaul. And for a second there, Vancouver switches off and can't recover. And again, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Congratulations to Miami. Unbelievable. And it's the little mistakes that get made. There was no reason for Kubas to do that. He literally had possession, and all he has to do is play it back, and Miami doesn't score that goal. And now we have about 18 minutes left for Vancouver. And Novo's going to have to play this one long. Headed away. But that's going to go back to Vancouver. And here's Laborda. And here's Poopy, who quite honestly has played like Poopy. Here's Ocampo. Good move. And there's a turnover, no whistle. As Laborda does a good job of taking away from the angle from Alande. And here's, and they're going to give Kubas a yellow there. Messi, you already won the whistle, bud. You can get up now. And in a span of 2 minutes now, all of a sudden, Vancouver feels like they're about to unravel here. All the good work Vancouver put in to being disciplined, it's about to come unglued. Because now Miami has a free kick in an area. And now they have all the momentum. And if Miami is able to capitalize right here, it's over. See, what did I tell you, Messi? You're fine. Yeah. Oh. What an absolute heartbreaker, too. And it was Kubas, who was usually very disciplined on the ball. Doesn't necessarily make those mistakes. Heartbreaker. Miami leads 2-1. And mind you, they've done it with 25 to 30% of the ball. Again, this is what happens when you switch off. Miami absolutely will gut you like a fish. So here's Messi now. As that ball gets played in, headed away, so this will go out for a corner. As we are approaching the 75th minute, with Miami now leading 2-1, 15 minutes to play, and Vancouver's got to get their composure back here. As Messi now will take this corner. As Messi will whip this one in. Headed away by Gall. And now racing to close down Messi is Savi. As that ball gets played back to Allen. And playing it back to Rios Novo. As that ball will swing back out to Allen. And now they're going to play this thing long. As that ball, I think that ball's going to go off of Poopy. No, they're going to say that was off of Silvetti. As that ball gets back into play, as that's going to go off of Takaoka, who's got to make a bad pass now. Here's DePaul. Around to Silvetti now. Blackman closes him down into the box. Good deflection. And Thomas Muller will come down and make a touch right there. And that's headed forward by Brian White. But Miami holds possession. As we approach the 77th minute now, as Miami again will play it long. There's Tristan Blackman. But it comes down to Segovia. And now Miami's able to move. Nice play right there by Ocampo. Here's Berhalter. Great play right there by Rodrigo DePaul. And there's a whistle against Gall as DePaul flops again. As it looks like Bright's going to come on. And so now Miami, with 13 minutes left to play, will take off an attacker and strengthen their defense. Can Vancouver find an equalizer? They got to throw the kitchen sink at Miami now. That's a good deflection right there. as this ball now finds its way to Tristan Blackman. And now here comes Vancouver. It's Kubas. Here's Ocampo. Here's Sabi now. As Sabi does a good job of keeping it in. As Poopy now will play it down the left-hand side. Here's Laborda. Here's Thomas Muller, and that touch was just horrible. Good job by Kubas to take it away. And there's a whistle against Sebastian Berhalter. And now all of a sudden, Miami is allowed to play their pressing style. And now there's a whistle against Gauld, as this is what happens now. Shot leaders today, Messi's got 3, Muller's got 3, Savi's got 3, White's got 2. As Vancouver has essentially played this entire match down in Miami's half of the pitch. They even got the equalizer, but they switched off as Priso had to come out for Poopy. And they absolutely came unglued. Here's Ocampo. And there's going to be a whistle right there against Segovia. 10 minutes remain. Here's Takaoka. And now they'll try to play this down the left. As Ocampo does a good job keeping it away from Alande. But Vancouver's got to hurry up. And here's Laborda now. Here's Gauld. Oh, that's good defense right there. As they try to wedge a ball between two defenders. And Miami will come away with it now as that ball goes long. Here's Blackman. As that's going to go out, it's going to be a Vancouver throw. And now Vancouver will make another sub here. As Cabrera will come on. As coming off now is going to be Kubas. Not a bad game for Kubas today. But the mistake that the mistake he made directly led to Miami's second goal. Oh, and they're actually going to say this is a Miami throw. So Jordi Alba will play it in. Here's Bright. As that's going to go out for a goal kick. As Vancouver had their opportunity, as Sabi got one in, but it rings off the posts. That was their opportunity. Unfortunately, that's football. As now they're going to try to play one down the right side, headed up. But right there is Sabi. And I think that's going to go out for a corner. And it will. Last touch by Jordi Alba. As it'll be Sebastian Berhalter now. As Berhalter's delivery goes in. Punched away by Rios Novo, but Cabrera's there. Oh, yeah, and they're going to whistle that a foul. Yeah, I think they're going to say this is against Messi. As play resumes, here's Berhalter. Chips it into the back post. Headed on forward. Oh. Oh, how great it is, Ace, that you're complaining about opposing flopping. How awesome is that, Ace? As I'll get to your questions in just a sec. As we are now approaching 5 minutes remaining here in full time. As that's a good hustle right there, but it goes down to Alba, who's just going to play this out. And of course, this is the last go round for Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, and Sergio Busquets. Busquets and Alba will be retiring, as there is a yellow card right there. Against DePaul. And it looks like Luis Suarez will go back to his native Uruguay. Here's Tristan Blackman. That's good. That's a good play right there by Brait. Now here comes Segovia. And there's going to be a yellow against Laborda. And Vancouver has pretty much lost all their rhythm here. As Segovia flops. Flop, flop, flop. I think now with 4 minutes left to play, that's the thing is you can credit Vancouver after the first goal. They actually recovered quite nicely, and they were able to control large portions of this game and do a lot of things right, including getting the equalizer. But again, once Miami put that second one past, Vancouver lost all composure. As there's Bex. So it'll be a free kick. That ball plays forward. And then it gets played out by Vancouver. So this will be a Miami throw-in now. 3 minutes remain plus stoppage time. I assume there's going to be 7 minutes of stoppage time, considering all the flopping. And by the way, we haven't seen the cramp game yet, where Miami pretends to get cramped. As Falcone will play this in. Right there is Ocampo. Right to Takaoka. So Miami's got to hurry. Excuse me, Vancouver's got to hurry. As it's Poopy, who will play it back. Here's Ocampo. Here's Muller. And there's a whistle. Actually, it was Gald. Nice play by DePaul right there. And now Miami clears. Minute and a half remain. you kind of have to damn the torpedoes at this point and just play something down pitch. As Laporta will hit Bearhalter. Here's Sabi. That's tipped away. Held in. Here's Blackman. And now they're going to have to play something in. Clear it away. As we are now in the 89th minute. Here's Sabi. Now it's Cabrera. That's going to get played out. This will be a throw-in. So 30 seconds remaining in full time. There's the cramps. There's the cramps. You knew it was coming. Yep. And it looks like Vancouver will make a switch as Nelson will come in, and it looks like Cello's coming in as well too. So Sabi comes off for Nelson as we are now approaching the 90. And it looks like Cello's coming in for Frey. Good game by Frey today, by the way. Tough loss today. I mean, granted, it's not over, but still. As Vancouver will throw this in. Deep into the box, headed down, cleared. Racing it is Messi. Winning it is Messi. Tracking back is Blackman. Here's DePaul. Coming out of it is Messi. Busquets, oh, nice defense right there. Is now that's going to be cleared. As that'll get out for a Vancouver throw-in. 7 minutes of added time, by the way. As that's going to fall all the way down to Takaoka. 6 minutes remain, and now they're gonna try to switch this to the left-hand side, and it's going to be cleared. Good hustle right there. And there's going to be a foul. As Vancouver, again, will try this again. There's the switch to the left-hand side. And I think they're going to... As Miami still has to be switched on because we have another 5 more minutes here. As it looks like the Miami ownership is ready to celebrate this win. As this will be a goal kick here. As this crowd is up on their feet as they are just 5 minutes away. As Rios Novos will clear this. As that'll come back down to Vancouver. As that ball is played to Blackman. Here's Muller. As Muller's got to track back to get this one. So far away from goal. As Galt plays it back, and now they're going to try this again. As Jordi Alba is there. As they've tried that switch to the left side for the last 3 minutes unsuccessfully. And now there's a yellow against Berhalter. Three minutes remain in extra time. And Vancouver has to get down the pitch. It's like they've been trying this left-sided switch for the last couple of minutes unsuccessfully. They have to get it into the box. As that ball comes down to Messi. As now they'll work it to the left. As Alba will just play it forward. Here's Segovia. Good defense right there. Oh, and then Ocampo loses it. And now Miami is just going to play this back. 2 minutes remain as Novo play it forward as it comes down to Sergio. As Messi will flick it forward. Oh, boy. As Alande closes it out. There it is. As what's Javier Mascherano doing on the pitch? Oy. Congratulations to Miami, as they are your 2025 MLS Cup champions. As, listen, Vancouver did everything right for the largest part of this one, but they switched off and allowed Miami to get that second goal. And ever since that second goal, they have been completely out of sorts, and now they just lose their entire composure right here. As, you know, it didn't help that Vancouver lost Priso off that back line, but it is what it is. As we have about 5 seconds remain. There it is. There's the 97. As Inter Miami is your 2025 MLS Cup champions, as they have finally been rewarded as a franchise that has had rules broken for them to build this team. The flagship team of Major League Soccer, the whole reason why Miami was brought in, Messi was brought in, to do exactly this. Last year it was Supporter Shield. This year it's MLS Cup champions, so they hoist the biggest trophy. As they're going to whistle that against Nelson right there, against Messi. As we are now in the 98. As you can tell that Miami is waiting for this final whistle. Is that Justin Bieber on the sidelines too? As they're waiting for this final whistle. Let the party begin in Miami. As Inter Miami has pulled it off. Your 2025 MLS Cup champions, and yeah, that's the thing. It's yeah. Oh, in the playoffs with 100%. And again, credit to Vancouver, man. They did everything that they were supposed to do today, and it takes one mistake, and everything comes absolutely unglued. And this is exactly what Miami was waiting for, right? You can tell that there were certain times, especially after Vancouver equalized, that you can tell that maybe there was some concern and some anxiety on the face because Vancouver had pulled themselves level and were absolutely dominating possession. But then when Kubas, switches off and Messi comes up with that ball, that's all it takes. That is all it takes. And Miami punished them. And then that's your ball game. As soon as they scored that second one, even with 30 minutes left, it was absolutely lights out from that standpoint because Miami is just so good. And oh, by the way, they play incredibly well ahead, and it's well earned, it's well deserved. And again, coming into this one, obviously, a key of the keys to the game is also not just defensive accountability for Vancouver. It's stopping Miami from scoring first. They do that. They're unbeatable when they take the lead. Now, credit to Vancouver, they rallied back and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They dominated possession. They got the equalizer. But again, when you switch off for the simplest moments, you are going to get punished. And Miami made them absolutely pay. And so from that standpoint, man, this is exactly why they're champions. Ace Lionel asked, how do you think the refs did? I actually thought they were okay. It's a final. And I think that, I think they did great. Let's see. Let's go right here with Anthony Manzano, who says, do you think MLS is going to empower the refs to either give these players a red card or a yellow card for flopping when there's no contact or person? I would hope 100%. The interesting thing, though, is if you think that they were going to do it, they would already have done it by now. That's the thing. It's especially in Major League Soccer where you have DPs and you have superstar players, they're going to get the calls regardless, and that's why they don't. That's why they don't want their. That's why they allow shit like that to happen. Dan Davenport asks, the World Cup venues and kickoff times are not allowed. The venues are actually there. It's right now. It's just scheduling. He also goes on to ask, do you think Liverpool owners will sack Slot soon? The results have been poor. Great question. Liverpool's the type of team that would sack it, especially if they feel like their season is slipping away. That's funny. You call a flop, I call a flop. Both teams are flopping. Let's see. Who would you say would say this would be a hard fall for Miami if they end up finishing the game? Who gets the game ball in Finals MVP? Obviously, it's going to be Messi. 100% without a doubt. Yeah, Alonde. It's David Beckham's son. Let's see. It's a habit. They switch off against LAFC. Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point because we saw that in the second half against LAFC, right? Vancouver switched off twice, especially after that first goal from Sonny, and then of course Tristan Blackman takes an absolute ridiculous foul, gets his second yellow, gets sent off, and they immediately score. And so from that standpoint, you're absolutely right. This is not anything new, and it's an absolute shame. Let's see, most followers so convenient saying Liverpool managers throw them under the bus. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Let's go ahead and get into the stats here. As this game finished, Vancouver finished with 65% to Miami's 35%. Of course, XG, Miami ends up pulling away 1.29 to 1.1. Total shots, Vancouver 10, Miami 8. Shots on target, 4-3. Big chances, Miami 2, Vancouver 1. Big key stat here, big chances missed, 0. And that one big chance by Sabi, that would have given them the lead, and it changes everything. They missed it. Accurate passes, Vancouver 448, Miami 221. Fouls committed, Vancouver 23, Miami 22. Both had one corner. Digging into the shots here, shots from inside the box, Vancouver 8, Miami 6. Hit the woodwork, Vancouver 2, Miami 0. Shots outside the box was 2-2. XG from open play, 1.20 for Miami, 0.61 for Vancouver. Passes, 514 for Vancouver to 275 for Miami. Passes in the home half, 216 for Vancouver, Miami 152. In the opposition half, 232 to 69. Accurate long balls, 26-19 Miami. Accurate crosses, 5-1 Vancouver. Throws, 18-9 Vancouver. Touches in the opposition box, 22-12. And Miami is offside, 3-0. Yellow cards, and it was a shit show at the end there as Vancouver had 6 to Miami's 4. Vancouver wins the tackle battle 16-8. Interceptions 10-9, and that's actually a key because that was one of the biggest problems with Vancouver when they were trying to unlock that attacking third. Their passes were not in good areas. Clearances 25-10 Miami. Keeper saves 3-1. Duels. Vancouver won the duel battle 60-43. They won the ground duels 44-35. Vancouver wins the aerial battles. Aerial duels 16-8 in successful dribbles 9-6. And so essentially what this tells you is that Vancouver controlled every aspect. They did everything right and still got punished. And it's an absolute shame because, you like to see teams get rewarded for that type of play. Coming into this one, it was, can you stop Miami from taking advantage of those soft areas that just allow them to be direct and allow them to run up the score? And credit to Vancouver, they did it. That was the assignment. They passed it. But what they couldn't do was find that final link up in the attacking third. Again, credit Miami's defense because they're the ones that actually won this game for Miami. We can talk about Rodrigo DePaul. We can talk about Alande right there at the end. And yes, you bury your chances, but it was Miami's defense that really won them because when you're pinned back, it's easy to concede from those areas. But again, they played beautifully. Falcone and Allen did a very good job as the center back pair. And of course, Sergio Busquets did a phenomenal job. But again, credit to the fullbacks as well too, because they were trying to work it down both sides. Vancouver didn't have enough success. And I guess, man, this was a waiting game. And Miami played it well, man. Miami played it well. And I think they also learned their lesson from the Leagues Cup final as well too. And I don't think they could be in a position to drop this one. So from that standpoint, very, very, very good game for Inter Miami. They deserve this one, and they deserve to host that trophy because, quite frankly, this is what this team was built to do. It wasn't built to win the U.S. Open Cup. It was not built to win the League Cup. It was not built to win supporter shields, although those trophies are nice to have. This is exactly what they were built to do. Two things. Number one, win MLS Cup and win the CONCACAF Champions League. But that being said, especially for, Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets to go out with the trophy, that's the reason why they came here. Mission accomplished. And now for Miami, it's, where do you go from here? Because this is exactly, why you brought these guys together. And now 2/3 are going to be gone. You know, Messi is signed through 2028, but we'll see exactly how this moves forward for Miami. And you know, what does this mean for Vancouver moving forward as well too? That's also a very good question, right? You know, what is the want and the desire for a guy like for Thomas Muller? You know, did he just come over for this run? So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But again, man, congratulations to Miami. We kind of had a feeling this was going to play out this way, but you know, Vancouver made it a game. But in the end, you know, when you look at the weapons at Miami's disposal, they did a phenomenal job. And from that standpoint, man, it is what it is. It said, man, when they got to zoom into Berhalter crying, yeah, that's too bad, man. It's too bad, man. I was wondering about Berhalter as well too. Like, you know, this was a big stage for somebody to step up, and I'm not going to say Berhalter didn't play well, but you know, I was kind of hoping that we would see some of the bigger players step up in these moments. So, man, overall great playoff run for both teams. Miami essentially cruised into MLS Cup without much resistance. Vancouver got a little bit more resistance, and they were battle tested. I think from the beginning, FC Dallas, you know, in that second game played them well, and LAFC played them well. But that being said, man, God damn it, it pisses me off, man. I'll be the first one to admit it. I didn't want Miami to win this one. But that being said, man, I think MLS got it right. I really do. I think they got it right, and I think from every position, MLS finally got their championship game right as the two best teams in MLS went head to head, and we saw the resolve of Inter Miami. So I'm very happy with that. But that being said, man, I want to thank all of you guys who tuned in today. And I want to thank those that participated in the chat today. As Ace says at the end, people will still find a way to discredit Miami. Yeah, listen, man, I don't want to be the one to be guilty of it, right? Because I did say it, right? Major League Soccer, and you have to admit this, by the way. You have to admit this one, Ace. That Major League Soccer bent their own roster rules in order to facilitate the signings of the guys that they have. On paper, like literally they had 5 DPs. And they were able to figure it out. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, they did. They got it done. Whether it was TAM or GAM or whether convincing certain players not to be a DP signing, they figured it out. So I guess congratulations. But this right here. What happened today was designed. It was designed for a reason. I'm happy that you're happy, Ace. I'm happy that you're happy. But the rest of America is not happy that Inter Miami won it. It's like the New York Yankees winning the World Series or the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. Nobody's happy with it except for fans of those teams. Yeah, I'm bitter. I'll be the first one to admit it. I was pissed off when Seattle lost to Minnesota, but what are you going to do? All right, guys. Again, I want to thank Ace for stopping by. I want to thank Dan Davenport. I want to thank Anthony Manzano. I want to thank Deborah and RQ70. I want to thank the Portuguese and everybody who took the time today to participate in the chat. And I want to thank all those that were tuning in, man. This has been fun. This has been a good season here on Stateside Footy when it comes to the MLS live stream. And of course, we will be back next year. Of course, the live stream, obviously, throughout the Premier League season will be available. So there's also that. And you're absolutely welcome, man. And I appreciate it. And by the way, coming up This upcoming week on Stateside Footy, of course, we have the USMNT Yanks Abroad. That's going to be on Monday. It's our weekly recap of U.S. men's national team pool players. We will be back on Tuesday night as well, too, to talk about the World Cup draw a little bit more in depth, because there is some things to talk about as we go over the World Cup groups in depth. So that's going to be on Tuesday. And of course, I will have a show, I think, this upcoming week, as I welcome back Jeff Lageson back on to go over the entire MLS year in full, and as we talk about a few other teams as we look forward to the 2026 MLS season. And of course, it's a massive season. It's a World Cup year, and there's a lot at stake, not only for pool players abroad, but also for domestic-based players too, as we get down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to the U.S. men's national team and their World Cup roster squad selection. So a lot of good stuff coming up here on Stateside Footy. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and you hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on any of the upcoming content here. For everyone that was involved, again, congratulations to Inter Miami. You are the 2025 MLS champion. Well-deserved for the season that you had. Congratulations to Vancouver. You had a hell of a season. And hopefully everything goes right for you in this upcoming offseason. And you're able to make a quick turnaround and at least try to replicate the season as it's, let's see if you can run it back in the Western Conference. So I want to thank everybody involved, and I will see you shortly on Monday and again on Tuesday. So again, hit the like and subscribe buttons. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. And if I don't see you guys before the holiday, hopefully you guys have a wonderful Christmas and even a better New Year. God bless, guys. Take care. Good night.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies.